Hey, welcome to The Sinner and the Saint. I'm Melissa Bell.
And I'm Allison Kane.
So I think the new thing is I'm going to start all of our podcasts with a one-liner.
Oh, okay. I'm so excited.
Okay. So
Okay.
this one-liner is, and they're life lessons in one line, by the way. Okay.
Okay. All right. Good.
All
I
right,
like
ready?
it. Okay. Get ready.
Hey, you don't have to ride that roller coaster.
Hey.
You know, like when someone tries to pull
Yeah.
you onto their drama, or
Yes.
you don't have to attend all the fires. You don't have to go get on the train. You don't have to subscribe to the chaos. I don't know.
It's like an invitation that you get in the mail. You RSVP, but you can RSVP yes, no, maybe.
Right.
Or you can just delete it and pretend like it went to spam. Just saying.
Those e-vice, man. They go right to spam, don't they?
They do sometimes,
I
actually.
know.
That is such a great point. Interestingly, we are going to talk about putting out fires. If I
Oh.
get this hair out of my eye.
Is it because
Sorry.
it's a million degrees outside, or because your life is a little upside down right now?
I mean, don't all of the above.
Okay.
Everything. Like, that's how upside down things can be sometimes. Just like, I don't even know. Somebody said the other day, they were like, how are you doing? I'm like, I think I'm fine, but if I'm not, don't tell me, okay?
Yeah, I don't want to know.
I'm just like, head down, trying to get it done. But I was in 2 Corinthians 3, verses 16 and 18, and it says, turn to face God as Moses did. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just a few of the words that stood out. It says, when we do that, when we're face to face, you readily recognize that God is a living, personal presence, not a piece of chiseled stone. And I love that. Our face, when we're looking at Him, shine with the brightness of His face.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me feel good. I mean, just these beautiful things in Scripture. Our lives gradually become brighter and more beautiful as God enters our lives and we become like Him. But I was thinking, when we're running around putting out fires all the time,
Or jumping on the roller coasters all the time.
exactly, we can spend so much time and energy and effort and just our hearts into putting out fires that are people are building around us, that we don't take a lot of time to build and tend to the one in us,
The fire within.
the fire within. I mean, just stopping in the moments of crazy
Yep.
and sitting face to face with God. I've really had to do this a lot in the past week. Just, went through a very chaotic week and there was no time to process anything until I came out of it. And then I sort of have to regroup. And I know my husband's like, where is my wife? I know she's in there. Like, we've been together long enough. Like, he's present, but he kind of gives me my space. And, he's tender, but not too, not too much, just right. Bless his heart.
Good job, Matt.
Woo! He's a good
doing
man.
the dance, right?
He's doing the little dance and checking in, but not being overly whatever. But I just have to work through it. But with God, I've got to sit with Him in these moments, and with all the things and sort through it all. But I could have easily come back from that week and ignored all of that and jumped into 20 fires that were going on when I got back.
So what's really fun about me is because my superpower also is to completely avoid things like that. I just make my own fires.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's a garden. Let me go dig up the garden. Oh, look, here's a fun craft.
That's awesome. Yes, you create your own.
Yeah.
So even when someone isn't throwing an obstacle in your way, you're like, I think I'll come up with my own.
Yes. Like, let me dig up the entire garden and move the fig tree.
Yes. Oh, it is. I think a lot of us procrastinate when it comes to and throw, blockades in the way when it comes to our own sitting and processing with the Lord sometimes.
I'm doing this study, Entangle Your Emotions with Jenny Allen. And first of all, this week I opened the book and it said feel. That was like the splash page for the week.
Uh-huh.
And I almost threw the book. that word was so offensive to me. I was like, I am done with this.
I do not want to feel.
It just said feel. And no, don't tell me what to do. So then
That's when you know you might need to stop and pause and take a deeper look.
So then I start to do the work,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to this part. I'm doing the Bible study one.
Oh,
What
yeah.
does this say? What
Answering
does
the
that say?
question,
Blah, blah, blah.
fill in the blank. That's the easy part.
And then it said, well, how do you, it went back to a memory or something.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I'm just faking it. I mean, I'm writing things, but I'm not feeling things.
Right.
So then I finally paused at the end of the page and I said, I'm going to need to come back to this because I'm not participating really.
I'm fake participating.
I'm not participating.
I'm giving them the 20,000.
Yes, but view. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we can change this about ourselves, okay? This is a natural reaction. Who wants to face truth and hard things? I mean, it's like our kids, right? They don't want to do the homework and fold their laundry, and so they can find 1,000 other things to do,
right,
besides the stuff they don't want to do. And this change that we can make is not automatic. I wish it was. I wish it was like a little switch.
Yeah.
And it could be like, oh, I'm going to feel.
Right.
It's all good. I'm going to flick the switch on this page. But your reaction is so interesting. I think we all,
like visceral, full body reaction. I'm going to throw this book.
Yeah, I'm going to burn it in my fires.
That's just a word. 4 letters, girl.
Oh, because change is possible, but it takes a continued steady effort.
Yes.
Which is exhausting.
And so here's another thing. Come out of the gate, and I decided to test this little feel theory. And it didn't go as planned. Like, it backfired, kind of.
Mm.
And I thought, well, there you go. I tried it. Done.
And since it didn't go as you expected, you're like, never have to do that again.
Exactly. I tried it your way, and that was dumb.
So now I'm back to mine.
Yes.
So your continued steady effort lasted 30 seconds.
Okay. All right, Judgy. I'm working on it.
Well, I love, the reminder that change doesn't happen because of what we do. Okay?
Yes.
It happens because of our relationship with God. And I mean, I think we hear that comment a lot, like it takes God's strength, God's courage, like whatever. But y'all, honestly, we are not capable as humans. Like, I know that you will try again.
Yeah.
And I know that you can talk about those emotions because you are authentic and all those things, and we laugh about it. But I know when faced with another one, you will try it again because of your relationship with God.
Yes.
And it will be His strength and His nudge that you will follow that will take you down that path.
Right.
And so that is when you know that you don't really want to do it. And yes, we should want to do it with a willing heart, but sometimes we just got to do it because God says do it.
I don't know where that verse is, by the way, that willing heart thing.
Yeah.
No, don't write in. We don't want to know where it is.
I think you took white out in your Bible and erased it or whatever.
Who needs this page?
Who needs this one? I think the cool part for me is when I put myself in these situations. See how you feel. Where I challenge myself. I challenge myself with these feelings, and I remember to take it to the Lord, and that it's not on me, it's with Him. There's our partnership again, our companionship with Him, like we talked about last week, that we begin to realize and recognize He's not, as these verses in 2 Corinthians say, He's not a piece of chiseled stone. He actually is real. And we begin to recognize that when He enters our lives and we allow Him in and we partner with Him to accomplish these things, we actually do become more like Him. And our hearts sort of shift and change, and we desire more of what He desires. Gradually.
Most of the time.
Not a switch.
Right.
Wish it was just yep, here we go. I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, I found myself saying this week, hey, God, this was your idea. You're going to have to figure this one out.
I will follow through.
Yep.
But that's all I got.
I'll do it. Tell me what it is. Yeah.
I love that. But that again goes back to there's a confidence there and a trust that has been happening over years
Years, yes.
of putting yourself in this relationship with him and relying on him and not your own, that has made him real to you and his trust. And that's the kind of change we're talking about here, where we don't feel like we have to go be the fireman and put out all the fires that people are starting around us, or that life throws in our path, the obstacles. We can sit with the Lord and we can say, I trust you. I have no idea. You're obviously leading this. Show me the way.
So give me an example of what it looks like for you to be putting out fires. Not you specifically, but just us in general.
Okay, that's a good, because I think putting out fires can be, people are like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So not actual fires with flames and matches, but all of the little emergencies that can come up. Okay, for example, and this could, this isn't like my personal life necessarily, right, but you could have, you know, a parent that has something medically going on that you need to deal with. They could live near you or away from you. Both are challenging. Farther away is harder. Then you could have something going on at work where there's something catastrophic. Then you could have a kid who's forgotten some sort of project that they need to finish their class. Then you could have, somebody's missed a deadline that, to renew something, and then it's your problem, right? It's like, oh my gosh, and I need this tomorrow by 9 a.m. Can you get, and they're texting you at 10 p.m. at night. And it's like,
the answer is no.
Okay, like, yeah, no. I mean, the old me back in the day, 20 years ago, I would have been running around helping everyone, feeling as if my job was to help everybody put out their fire.
Right.
And manage their situation that they had created, but they throw into your life. Now, I'm not saying don't be helpful.
Right.
Or be like, I'm not helping you. You messed up. I'm not saying that.
Though that is really fun to say sometimes.
It is
just
sometimes.
For the record.
Natural consequences are a thing.
Right.
And we all need them, and we have all experienced them. But especially the ones that you cannot control and fix, that are going on in your life.
Oh yeah.
With health or circumstances, relationships, among your family or friends, that sort of thing that you can't control. Those especially, it is when you just sit and kindle your fire within you, like sitting with the Lord, trusting him, asking him for guidance, where the peace comes. And actually, there are greater benefits in building that fire and that strength and that trust and that courage with him, knowing he's got everything handled.
You're so right, because if you take the time, like you said, to develop that muscle of God's in control and knowing God's character and knowing who he calls us to be, it clears your path. It makes it a very distinct, I mean, it's not always distinct, but you always know where you're going. You know how you should be showing up, right? And so you have things to fall back on. But if you've never taken the time to create that foundation, you're probably really tired right now.
Yes.
Your phone doesn't ever stop ringing. Everybody needs you. Everyone is having an emergency, and you're the go-to person for those things. And so, I don't know. I think you should probably turn your phone off for 12 hours.
Oh, some people, that is really scary to some people.
My phone is off all the time.
Me too.
My poor husband.
Mine too. He's like, even the kids are like, you never answer your phone. I'm like, I'm just not attached to it. Like, I don't know where it is.
Yeah. First things first, turn your phone off and go take a long nap.
There you go.
Or
a long walk if you can't take a nap.
Ask God to show you what your distractions are. One of my favorite distractions is cleaning my house. And so on the outside, it looks so good. She loves to clean her house. What are you avoiding, ma'am? Oh, by the way, it's feelings.
That word.
I know. Ooh.
Well, that is so funny.
So can I just throw one more funny story in
Yes,
here?
Yes.
Years ago when I was in Texas, I found myself almost being dropped into Pleasantville.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, coming from where I come from, it was like, this is a new world. I don't know what to do here. And so the neighbor kind of befriended me. I think she wanted to mentor me, but looking back, I think she really wanted to fix me. And our small group was at their house. That's where someone found out that I had bourbon in my cup at small group. Anyway, that's another fun
I hope they
story.
didn't kick you out.
Didn't.
They just judged you a little on the side
I
behind your
know.
back.
It's dinner time, friends. We're fine. I just have to walk across the yard. Anyway, so my response was, I drink bourbon, so I can keep my mouth shut around you guys. So that was probably the nail in the
That is
coffin.
awesome.
But one of the girls in our small group, so I was walking with that neighbor. We'd walk a lot. And she said, "What? Oh my gosh, there's an emergency. She needs us to come right now." Well, this woman is a recent widow.
Mm-hmm.
So she has 2 teenage kids, and we have no idea what
Right.
we're coming into. And so I kid you not, she called us with her quote unquote emergency because she wasn't sure if she wanted to buy this table.
Oh.
I thought, you can't buy it because I'm going to set it on fire.
This is not an emergency.
You just set all of my triggers up with an emergency, and I'm imagining all the terrible things that be happening, and you're trying to choose a table.
Right.
So some people throw little fires that aren't fires at all.
And I will say, I asked myself as I was thinking through this, how do I know that this is working? How do I know that that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm on the right path in this settling in this space with God? And the word that comes to mind is peace. You feel a peace even in the fires and the obstacles that come that you do have to face, that you have to go through, that you have to walk over, some you can calmly put them in their place. Now, I will say that there were a couple of times last week that I didn't handle things. I was not having my regular time with the Lord, and I just didn't. I kind of went like tizzy. It was just like blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that is so not me. But I recognized this is not me.
Right.
And I didn't like it. And I knew why. And I wasn't ugly but it felt out of control.
Right.
And I'm not used to feeling like that. I'm like, where is my peace? And it felt good. It's like, okay, right. Well, you didn't have it during that, but you recognized it wasn't there. And you knew why and how to get it back.
Right.
You know
what? I just thinking about Melissa 10 years ago, you don't know what you haven't experienced. And so I didn't know that there was a peace like that.
Right. Oh, right.
So some of you listening may feel like we're talking about, I don't know, the aliens that people see in the middle of the night, right? It's a real thing, this peace.
It is. Holy cow. I mean, I grew up in the church and heard people talk about this peace that surpasses all understanding. I mean, but y'all, it is real.
Yeah.
And you can experience it when you're spending time with the Lord, and then you realize that he's not just this far off, distant character in a book, or like some spy that keeps tabs on your sins, or the judge. What are some like we are the maker of all the rules we have to follow?
So, recently being in a few different groups, I realized that oftentimes we take our experiences here on the earth and apply them to God. And so that's how we assume that he's doing life with us, because that's how our mom did life with us, or that's how our ex-husband did life with us, or
your mom is not God,
and
neither is your ex-husband.
But we don't even realize,
right?
That is the lens we're seeing everything through once again,
because he is something that we can't. He's the mystery.
So if I feel like my life is out of control and spinning out of control, and you say spend some time with God, tell me what that looks like.
Okay. I got 4 easy things, and I did this this particular day, and I'm going to start doing it I'm going to do it for the next week, actually.
Okay.
Because I need that reminder right now with all that's going on.
I feel like I have to write these questions down.
Okay. So today, in this moment, what can I be? What can I do? What can I give? and what can I receive? And I'm going to give you a few of the things that I wrote down personally.
Okay.
I can be trusting of God's plan, his provision, his work in my life, and that I can be joyful in the hairy and hurried days of my life, hopeful on the gray days, and peaceful. I can do, I wrote, nothing actually, nothing on my own, but with God, I can listen for his voice and I can follow his lead. I can give God all my doubts, all my uncertainty, my need to be in control, to fix the problem, and worry because it will get me nowhere. I can receive his outstretched arm, his gentle reminders through his presence, his love for me, and his mysterious ways. And so, what can I be? What can I do? What can I give? And what can I receive? Just writing those things out centers your soul back to, and your heart and your mind back to what's important. Again, going back to it's taking us within that inward movement of this is what I can do. All this chaos is swirling around me and there's lots of stuff going on, but what can I do today, right now, in this moment? And there's nothing more grounding.
Yeah, and I think to make it a different application, if you're faced with something hard, ask those questions.
Yes.
Of course you're going to get goodness from God and peace and stability, all those things. But, if you have a friend that goes through a hard loss, what can I be right now? Yeah. What can I do right now? Right?
Yeah. And if you're going through a hard loss and it's like, what can I do? You might write, cry, scream, cuss all day long. Get it. God can handle that too. Don't hide that stuff. I mean, you're never hiding it from him. That's the funny thing. But say it out loud to him. Write it out, because that takes your level with God to another, your intimacy with him to just a deeper level.
Right.
That opens up these new doors and you see him in a different light.
I agree.
We start seeing through a different lens. So quit putting out everybody's fires.
Yeah.
And focus on that fire within.
Be your own firefighter.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not it.
Yeah.
You want to build the fire. Fire builder? Fire starter.
I don't know.
Y'all name
this podcast episode. Hey, thanks for joining us this week on The Sinner and the Saint.